do have to commit to this. And that means familiarizing yourself with every aspect of it. Just because you want to be an announcer doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay attention to all the other roles that go into it. Understanding what a graphics operator does and what a tape operator does and a camera person and a technical director and a producer and a director and an audio person and an A2, all the jobs on a television broadcast. You want to be on TV, you want to be involved in broadcasting, you need to understand all of it. And you have to build up a real education of what it takes to be in this business, not just as an announcer. And then you have to go beyond that and really study the craft, watch a lot of broadcasts, listen to a lot of broadcasts, take notes, begin to work it into your style. You can simulate it to some degree. We're doing an interview right now. You've got a camera, I've got a camera. You can work on your broadcasting. There's no doubt about it. But eventually you have to go do it.
You're right.
And you have to find an outlet in which you can do it. And that's the only way to truly polish your skills, evolve, develop, and hopefully eventually get a chance to actually do it for a living.
Yeah. So you ready for this rapid fire segment?
I'm ready. Rapid fire. Let's go.
Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
I would say Kawhi. I'd say Kawhi. Kevin Hart would probably be a better fit for me just based on the size, but I like Kawhi's.
So, all right, let me ask you this, because out of all the Nets game you called, would you say the Kyrie Irving 51-point game was your most memorable?
I wouldn't say it's the most memorable game I've ever done. I will say this. Kyrie played in 20 games so far this season. 20. Yeah. He has enough highlights to fill 82 games. That's how much he packed in to the 20 games. Staying healthy was definitely a hurdle for him. But boy, when he was healthy and playing, he put on a show. And from a play-by-play man's perspective, that's what you want. You want someone that's doing dazzling things on a nightly basis and providing you the potential for highlights that can live on and on and on. Kyrie put together a year's worth of highlights into 20 games this season.
Do you think Bradley Beal ends up in Brooklyn this next year?
Ooh, I don't believe so. I don't have inside information, but my sense is that Washington would like to at least give it one last shot with the Wall-Beal backcourt.
Yeah.
And that would mean that they would have to trade him. I don't see it happening. I think they're going to at least try to see, unless that there's just discord behind the scenes that we're not completely familiar with. There had been rumors that the two of them had butted heads in previous years. John Wall is just about ready to come back. I think they want to try to see if that electrifying backcourt can give them one last push to becoming a credible team again.
Interesting. Favorite music?
Favorite music, probably classic rock, but I have an eclectic taste. If you went onto my iPod, you don't know what would pop up. It would be The Doors, then it would be Eminem, then it would be The Who, then it would be Montel Jordan. Like there's no rhyme or reason to what would pop up. So it would be hard to narrow me down to one specific type. If you're asking me favorite group of all time, growing up, The Doors were my group, and I've stuck with them through the years. There's just something about their sound that always appealed to me.
Thoughts on this Michael Jordan documentary?
Yeah, enjoyed it. Enjoyed taking a trip down memory lane. The term documentary might be pushing it. Documentary normally means that it's someone's outside perspective, but this one was Michael Jordan's perspective. It was so entertaining, and I was just mesmerized every Sunday. I really enjoyed it, but I also know that there are many sides to the story, and often we just got MJ's side to the story. But brought back a lot of memories for me. I started, as I mentioned, with the Nets in 1994. So when Jordan came back from his stint playing baseball, those were my early years of calling net games. And I vividly remember going into Chicago and the electricity that you would feel if he came to the Meadowlands. Trust me, you didn't feel a whole lot of electricity at Brendan Byrne, Continental Airlines Arena, Izod Center, whatever it was called in its various iterations. When he was there, you felt it.
Hmm.
It was tangible.
Wow. So so what are your thoughts? Okay, let me ask you this: who is the funniest person on the set on Yes Network?
Me. I'm the funniest person. I would say Richard Jefferson is very close. RJ is a piece of work, and I've really enjoyed working with him. It's almost like you're doing the broadcast without a safety net because he can go places
Yeah.
that other analysts will not go. And I like the banter, but you better be on your toes because he may say something that can send you in a completely different direction. And if you're not ready for it, if you're not ready to rally with him, it could overwhelm you in the moment. So I've enjoyed that repartee, and he is a very funny human being.
Yeah. So before we get to the last two things, I gotta ask you this question. Eli Manning joined Twitter recently, so I gotta ask you this: are you gonna join Twitter anytime soon or Instagram?
Let me think about that. No.
No.
No. Yeah, the funny thing with Twitter and with social media, I'm on it. I need to be on it. I need to know what's going on. It's just an account that you would not be able to identify. I've never tweeted anything. I've never posted anything. I just use it as a way to gather information. My philosophy on it, as it started, I was at a point in my career where I wasn't forced to join. There were younger broadcasters that were told by their employers, hey, we need you to do this. I had just gotten to that point in my career where they couldn't dictate. They asked my opinion.
Hmm.
They said, Ian, would you like to do this? Would you like to start a Twitter account or start an Instagram account? And my answer was, I'm good. I appreciate it, but I'm good. And the honest reason why, I'm really fortunate to have a lot of different jobs. And in order to do those jobs well, I've got to commit my time and energy
Right.
to preparing for these games, traveling around, then finding time for family and personal time and trying to get that balance, strike the right balance. I just knew in my heart that if I was going to join Twitter or Instagram, I was not going to be able to engage the way that I normally would with somebody. If somebody sends me an email, if somebody sends me a text, I get back to them. I return it.
Mm-hmm.
If you join social media and it grows and grows and grows, you can't get back to everybody. There's
Right.
no possible way.
Yeah.
And I just understood pretty early on in the process that unless I could do it the way that I wanted to do it, I wasn't going to be able to commit the time necessary. So I made the conscious decision not to. I do not begrudge anyone that's on it. I get it. It's a great way to get out there, get your name out there. I fully understand it. For me, it was not the right fit.
Hmm. Yeah, no, because the reason why I brought it up because when I saw Eli Manning tweet something, I was like, "What? Did Eli Manning really get Twitter now?" Like, but
He's got some free time though.
yeah.
Let's keep that in mind. His schedule has opened up just a little bit.
Yeah, so the last two things here before I let you go, and this has been an honor, by the way. Thank you for this. But I want to get your perspective on the late Kobe Bryant and Gianna and the late Jerry Sloan
Yeah.
also, if you don't mind, because this is this is an important question I always bring up to all my guests to get everyone's perspective because he was my role model growing up. Kobe was, and I didn't really get to watch Jordan. I watched Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Kobe, and the other stars, but I just want to get your take as an analyst, as a play-by-play call, and you obviously called Kobe games when Kobe was playing.
Sure.
So I just want to get your take on him and his daughter. And obviously, you're a girl dad. You have a daughter,
Yep.
and what did Gianna mean to you, and what does Mama mentality mean? And Jerry Sloan.
Yeah. First with Kobe Bryant, terrible tragedy. I had just pulled into Madison Square Garden when the news hit. The Nets were supposed to play the Knicks that night, so it was business as usual. And word started to spread that he had died in a helicopter crash. And we didn't know if the game was going to be played. Kyrie Irving had pulled into the parking lot and I believe was working out on the court when he got the news, and then went back to his car and drove out. They were very close. Kyrie looked up to Kobe as a mentor, not just for basketball, but for life and for business. And I think Kyrie is truly interested in picking up where Kobe left off when it comes to women's basketball and trying to be an influential force in the women's game and young women that want to be a part of this sport. He wants to be a beacon and wants to be someone that spreads positivity throughout that sport. So keep an eye on that moving forward. That would not surprise me if he steps in to that role. Here's the way I would describe it with Kobe as a play-by-play announcer. In my 26 years, 3 players would stand out. When you walk into an arena, you just know it's different that night. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. That's not to take away from any of the great players. Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Allen Iverson, currently Giannis Antetokounmpo, all of these players, Hall of Fame players. I'm just telling you from my perspective, I could feel the difference in the arena when any one of those 3 players were participating. So for Kobe, look, Laker fans always showed up in droves and you could feel their presence. But even Net fans knew they were watching greatness. And there was just a presence. All 3 of those guys had a presence that you just can't teach. It's in you, it's in your being, and it was in their souls. And it was very tangible, it was very palpable. You could feel it whenever you called a game with those 3. His daughter and the bond that they shared over basketball, that was very obvious. And that's the hard part in knowing that Gianna's life was cut short, and all the incredible things that she would have been able to accomplish in her life and the positive impact that she could have spread throughout. And the relationship, all the things that they would have shared. So yeah, it's to this day, it's just very difficult to wrap your brain around that happened. It still sometimes doesn't feel real. Jerry Sloan, old school guy, and this is how old school he was. The way things are set up in NBA arenas, there's a media room, and in that media room, there's a meal that's provided to the media on the night of games. And it used to be a free meal everywhere you went. It was just part of the deal. As the years have gone by, they might start charging for the meal and maybe the money goes to charity. But it's a place to congregate where media members sit amongst media members and they talk about the game, they talk about life, they share stories.